Kayla, this is your 20-year-old self talking. I know that you're 14 and you're headed into high school. You are attending the University of Louisville. And you're also in an African American comm class, which I think has really changed the way that I view the world. When I initially started thinking about what this class would be like, I didn't think that we would discuss the topics that we did. I learned a lot about myself in the fact that I was very naive and didn't really understand that white privilege existed, and many of the other things that I hope that you will learn from this video. One of the most interesting things we talked about this semester was the doll test. The doll test was a researcher-provided study in which they had multiple kids and ranging in ages, and they had two dolls sitting in front of them. One of the dolls was white and the other doll was African American. And of course they asked the kids whether or not which doll was which, white or black. And then they proceeded to ask which doll was nice. And the results stunned me. Almost every single one of the kids pointed to the white doll for the nice question. And when they asked which doll was bad, they also pointed to the black doll. And then they asked which doll most closely resembled them. The African American kids pointed to the black doll, even after answering the question that which doll was bad, which they had answered the black doll. This most closely relates to the fact of the invisibility syndrome. These kids have already decided that they're bad in relation to the black doll. And this is because of the multiple microaggressions and stereotypes that they face. Invisibility is defined as the inner struggle with the feeling that one's talents, abilities, personality, and worth are not valued or even recognized because of prejudice or racism. This definition comes from the Invisibility Syndrome and Racial Identity Development in Psychotherapy and Counseling African American Men by Anderson J. Franklin. Because these kids are young and yet don't quite understand it, although they do know that they are the bad doll, or they think that they're the bad doll, this progresses into the future, and this progresses into invisibility, and when to the fact that these kids don't even think that their worth is recognizable to other people because of the multiple microaggressions they face. Microaggressions are anything small that happen on maybe a daily basis that affect them in a way that makes them seem like, I guess the person's being racist towards them in a small way, a slight of some form. And these come in many forms, face threats and small things of that nature, but it adds up to the point where they feel that their worth is just not recognizable anymore. And at 14, you have no idea that this even exists, which is really sad, and I really wish you did. These microaggressions closely relate to this, I believe, article, Moving Beyond Stereotypes by Chris Porter. I hope one day that you will read this just as you have, because I'm 20 and I just did. But here's a clip from it, and I think that it accurately depicts our view of African Americans in our world right now.
In a world, and I am part of a society that has the lowest expectations for me. Images on the 6 o'clock news serves as a daily reminder that black males are to be feared and would most likely do harm to someone. I read how I would be lucky to live to the ripe age of 30, and chances are I might have been in jail. I am the father of several children with little or no means or interest to care for them. I am a black man in America.
You will walk into a store and not be looked at twice. You will walk down the street and probably not even be double looked at by a cop. You have all of these things that happen for you just because you're white. You won't be looked at twice when you're applying for an apartment. You won't be looked at twice because of your name when you're applying for a degree. These are things that equal white privilege. White privilege is huge. You get things just because of your skin color. And I wish as an adult people realized this more. In conclusion, all of these things are real, and I wish at 14 I had realized them more. So I hope what you gain from this is all of these things exist.